What is happening, Facebook Live? Steve Maeda here. This is my first of what will hopefully be many different Facebook Lives, which kind of broadcast the message of the many things that I do. So a lot of you guys who are on my public Facebook page may know me through jiu-jitsu, you may know me through recovery, you may know me through the dating and seduction industry, or through family. And I want to start doing live broadcasts or broadcasts that speak more to people that are within my entire community rather than just in the subsets of where I talk, and I'll talk a little bit more about those different podcasts and so on that we have to offer in the men's development programs that I do and that I do for a living. But what I want to talk about here is failing on a massive level. And this is something that everybody can relate with. And when you're in pain and when you're in that pain of it, you want to get out of it, and I don't want to stop you from that. And it's one of the worst things. But what I will say, and this came actually from a comment from one of our channels, our Men's Development Excellence channel, which if you're interested in that, I'll tell you about it later. Later on, maybe when this video is done, I may put some links about, is somebody was talking about how they were at a point of failure in their life at just a massive level. And so what I was telling him in that post, which was kind of a funny reply, is that, man, we are going to fail so many times throughout our lives, and my life is truly an anthem of failing over and over again in some of the biggest ways, and some of the ways that are just catastrophic, whether that means losing your family, whether that means bouts with addiction and all these different things. I'm not trying to complain about this in any sort of way, but failing on a big level where I've lost everything, where I feel that I have no hope, and to continue on with life which just doesn't seem like a point. That has been a point in my life that I've felt multiple times and taken multiple different actions on it. What is so important in what I know about my life, and what I value about my life now, is absolutely, hands down, that the people I surround myself in life with, the people that I trust, the people that I take seriously, are only ever people that have gone through that. And if you have not gone through that, well then, in a way, I can't take you seriously. In a way, you have no sense of character and whatnot, and well, I don't want to say that, but you're developing it, and there's nothing wrong with it because experience goes that way, but you haven't tried hard enough, you haven't pushed hard enough, and you haven't lived hard enough. Literally, everything that I value in my life being a lot of those things that I listed off. My family, my sense of spirituality, my sense of self, my self-confidence, my awareness in who I am, what I value in my life, because I talked about the jiu-jitsu communities, that as well. My sex life, my business, my relationships, all come in ways of massively failing. And that's great when we hear the story about like, oh, I went to a jiu-jitsu tournament and I got choked out and it was embarrassing, which has happened to me. But what I'm talking about is becoming a father, not knowing what to do, losing custody of my kids, not being able to see them for years, or going through a time where I went through countless relationships, and also, myself being for 10 years of my life being a dating coach and having so much stimuli in that, having no problem meeting women, but having a tough time being able to form a connection and form a lasting relationship and a functioning relationship, in the acceptance and acknowledgement of all those failures in severe pain, people. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm like, in a way, don't get me wrong, I don't like pain, but I'm not afraid of it, because now when I have it, I look at it as something that will absolutely teach me to do so many different things in my life. And so when we have these moments of failure, of course, the worst thing, in fact, in November, I went through a big problem in my life. It was a lot of pain that I felt. Some of you guys who are a part of my boards know about that. It was, to me, it was an intense amount of pain. We always say my hangnail hurts worse than your broken leg because it's my pain. But, it was, for me, it was a traumatic experience the whole time through it, because I've just gone through so much crap in my life, right? The whole time I was like, man, this sucks, this hurts, I'm confused, but I know I'm going to learn something out of it, and I know it's going to teach me something that is amazing. Now, that being said, to my buddy, who, this video isn't really for him, but I've already talked to him, and I'm open to talking to him privately. He's a part of my groups, and he's going through that time where we're not making things work, where in his case he was talking about on the levels of his business, his relationships, his senses of friends, and his family. There's a lot of things falling apart right now. Man, brother, find a support group, find a support system. That's what we have here. You need to find those things to get yourself out of pain, to not react towards the pain, to not, get all dramatic about it. The more drama we add to drama, or the more attention we give pain, the longer it lives. But the more that we can get onto a point where we can get to functionality and stability and get to those basics like breathing, eating, using your body, sleeping, being social and talking to people, you know, going into what we might consider the norms and not attacking these big deals and like, I'm gonna, you know, get out of pain, so I'm gonna join this, you know, men's group that costs $10,000 and blah, blah. No. You need stability first, you know. And so the thing is if you're in that pain, get out of that pain, but know that it's going to teach you something and let it teach you something. The worst thing, and we just put up a podcast about this. If you're interested in that, I'll send links to it. But the Daily Awesome is a podcast that we put out, you know, a video a day that has to do with men's development. It's a little bit more no punches pulled, and so to speak. But we rob ourselves from our power when we blame, when we get caught up in resentment and contempt, and when we go through that pain and we go through those failures or those extreme times in our lives where we're truly screwed and put out on just a terrible place. Like, man, it is just, when we get into that blame, when we get into that resentment, when we get into that, you know, us versus them, we get into those causes that are supposed to solve anything, we take away from the actual principles that we've learned so many things from. Really, and this is one of those things that I want to do this video for, is I want to start broadcasting a message, and I'm a men's coach and I work with men, and so those are usually the communities and even products that I offer are for that. I want guys to be able to come to a place and get the real story of what it means to be a man, what it means to go through the winnings, the failings, the heartbreaks, the losses, the wins, and all those different things that come into the picture, where we can start, you know, unifying and connecting our mind, our body, you know, our spirit, all these different things together. And that's really what we talk about. So that all being said, what's up, Rick? Thanks for the sound check. Man, I'm using a new mic and some new equipment. In any case, that all being said, guys, if you're looking for a community where we do those things, we have a free group. That's the Austin Men's Development Group. As I always say, and you don't need to live in Austin, with the Austin Men's Development Group, it is a free group, so there's a lot of people on there and few people interacting. If you want to step it up, we have our Men's Development Excellence Group, and I'll put links down below in that later, but you can go to austinmensdevelopment.com/members to find out about that. And then also, if you're interested in you know, our podcast, that's also for free, the Daily Awesome. It's on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube, as well as if you're interested in dating or anything about sex or relationships and a lot of things that people don't talk about, that's the Sexual Life Podcast or the TSL Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, and on YouTube as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'd love to have more ideas of what to talk about. You know, I've been a professional speaker for 11 years now, and I'm pretty good at it. Sometimes I do it in my own way. We'll say that. So if you have anything that you wanted to talk about, or things that have run into or you've run into over the years, you know, I have a men's group where literally we answer and ask for the last for the last 7 years, just anything you could come up with and imagine about, you know, what we've gone through and the story of that. We do it in our own way. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of it. But participate, leave comments, and hopefully we'll do this again tomorrow. See you later, guys. I'm in Onion Creek in Austin, Texas, walking my dogs. I'm about to go home because my wife has got to do yoga at Black Swan. So if you're there, you can see her. And I'm just going to sit home and take care of the kids. Talk to you guys later. Much love.